The title of this podcast is Don't Let the Lowest Part of Your Being Decide Your Life. And when I talk about or refer to the lowest part of your being, what I'm referring to is the part of you that always has something to say. It, in my experience, has ruined every experience I had and my life in so many ways. And I'll just give you just a few examples of it and how differently it could have been if I had a practice or I was had a practice and was applying the principles of the practice. So I was talking to a friend and I was sharing with her about the way that I used to be in terms of being able to handle feedback because she was sharing with me about an employee that she had to talk to that she manages who can't handle feedback. And I remember thinking like, that used to be me. And many years ago, a couple of decades ago, I used to teach exercise classes at a place here in Arizona. And I remember there being an incident in which I got at odds with a member, and I felt like the member owed me an apology. And and again, so that's the lowest part of my being, thinking that I'm owed an apology. Now, whether the person did something that was, I guess, kind or unkind is irrelevant. My comment about the kind or unkind act is what is the part that I need to be focused on. It's like my response to their behavior. And in this case, I had a very wise manager of the club who sat me down and talked about, Keith, we really, really appreciate all you do here. Your classes are in high demand, and we just would like you to allow that member to come back to your class. And my lowest part of me responded with, I can do that as long as this person apologizes to me, the lowest part of my being, like that. And he's like, Keith, we're not going to ask the member to do that. And I was like, well, I guess I'm out. You guys can find someone else to teach the class. And it just, when I look back on that time, just how I was so attached to being right about something that literally I missed what it was really about. What that incident uh, did was it didn't reveal anything about the behavior of the other person. It revealed a lot of things about me. And what it revealed was not that I'm a bad person and it's my character flaw or anything like that. No, it revealed that at that time in my life, with that particular incident, the lowest part of my being was running the show. And so I stayed in that space and I stewed in that space for a year while somebody else taught the class. And I got to be right. And in being right, the only person who's doing backflips and having a blast is my ego. But what am I missing out on by being right? I'm missing out on doing something that I really loved, but I didn't feel that way at the time. I'm missing out on the connection that I had with other people that took the class. I missed out on opportunities to just say thank you for the feedback to the manager and not demand an apology from that member. I missed out on the opportunity of when I would see that member, if I continue to teach the class, of maintaining an open heart. Although the lower part of me would have wanted to close my heart, I missed out on getting those reps and practicing that so that I could lean on that as other events unfolded in my life long after that event had passed. I missed out on, many things that I have no idea that might have occurred. More people coming to class, meeting new people, learning from new people, creating new relationships and friendships. The lowest part of your being will have you miss out on a lot, but you may not be aware of what you're missing out on because you're so attached to being right, so attached to it running the show. And that's just one example. And I'm sure that if you really reflect on your life, that the moment that something happens and when you've had a comment about it, you had something to say about it, was it something that made you better or something that did the exact opposite? That is 100% the question that you want to ponder. After something happens, are you experiencing peace and joy and contentment, or are you bothered? If you're bothered by it, your lower self is showing up and trying to run the show. And that's not to say that things in life that are undesirable uh, don't occur, because they do. But that's not the focus. The focus is how you handle those things. And the person who I want handling those things, the person I want running into a burning building, is my highest self. And so I encourage you to really pause and be steadfastly committed to not allowing the lowest part of your being to decide your life.